Imagine playing in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, just you and your friends having a great time, and all of a sudden you run into this large, big oil rig. The rig is probably isn't the first thing you think of when you are playing out in Alaska. If we want to keep America beautiful for future generations to come, we need to keep ANWR closed for drilling. ANWR stands for Alaska National Wildlife Refuge and is approximately 1 million acres. There is a 2,000 area acreage where they want to have the drill site. Previewing the main points. If we leave ANWR closed, there will be no chance of oil spills because there will be no rigs. And there are thousands of animals living happy and free in ANWR. The last point is that investing in green energy is the best option. We need to keep ANWR closed by having people sign petitions to keep it closed. The objections to leaving it closed for drilling are that it can lower unemployment and make America financially stable. If we keep ANWR closed, then the heating of the Arctic will slow down and the air will still be clear and crisp. Writing to our House of Representatives and talking at town meetings is one of the best ways to get our point across. Let us further our knowledge about why ANWR should be kept close to drilling. I have spent numerous hours in the Yukon Flats National Area Wildlife Refuge, and it's not too far from the Alaska National Wildlife Refuge, and I couldn't imagine seeing an oil rig right in the middle of the beauty of the land. Not drilling in ANWR could eliminate the risk of having an oil spill because there will be no oil rigs to malfunction. According to NOAA, there have been 20 major oil spills in the U.S. alone. In Alaska, over 13 million gallons of oil have been spilled in the water and on land. And that's according to the Department of Environmental Conservation. The cost to clean the oil depends on how much was spilled and what kind of oil was spilled. We're going to use a famous example known to many Alaskans, the Exxon Valdez oil spill. The average cost per gallon was $250 to clean up. This includes the cleanup costs, the crew, and the fine set on the company. Alaska has a special ecosystem that is unlike any place in the world. When oil spills, the animals get the oil into their blood, making it toxic. There is still damage after the oil has been supposedly all cleaned up. Today there are still pockets emerging in Valdez where the oil has been spilled, and this happened over 20 years ago. Not only are there environmental effects, there are global effects such as climate change. According to NPR News, the Arctic is heating up twice as fast as the rest of the world. According to Jackie Richer-Menich, a polar scientist who works for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, when the snow and ice melts at a normal temperature, it slowly cools the water. However, when it melts too fast, there are these dark spots that emerge in the ice, acting like a dark shirt on a hot day. But there is a solution to this. The solution is to invest in green energy. According to Alaska, the builders of the pipeline, it cost $22.5 billion to set up the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. The pipeline would cost about the same for the one to be built in ANWR. Those $22.5 billion could be used to set up windmills where the state wants to drill. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, the wind blows about 10 miles an hour on the prospective drill site. The cost difference is substantial. A 100 kilowatt windmill costs $350,000 to set up, and it produces the approximate energy of a commercial generator. With the energy of one windmill, they can pay for themselves in 6 years. If ANWR is open, it has many negative impacts. The major impact is on the environment. Having a metal giant in the mountainous areas would tarnish the wild, natural beauty of ANWR. It is also expensive to keep an oil field open. If there isn't enough oil coming in, then there's not enough money to pay the people who work there. The positive reasons to keep it closed is that it will be beautiful for future generations to come. Keeping ANWR closed will keep pollution levels down and will help the Arctic temperatures stop rising so fast. The opportunity of renewable energy is extremely possible in this area because of the amount of wind year-round. The plan of action to keep ANWR closed is writing to our House of Representatives expressing our concerns about the negative side effects of opening up drilling in the north. We can express our opinions in town meetings and local events. Remember, keeping ANWR closed will keep the last place on earth truly wild and beautiful.